Las Vegas provided us with a terrific race, including a first-time winner, close racing, and above all, more controversy. This time, it's Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, and Joey Logano that got caught up in controversy, and not for the first time. Their backlash at other drivers and NASCAR has been insane. First and foremost, Kyle Busch received awful news, which made him angry. The number 8 car was prepared to take advantage of a slowed green flag pit cycle. Then he sped down pit road. Of course, Busch believed he did nothing illegal, but NASCAR penalized him regardless. This race had just been reversed at that point. Drivers had barely started down pit road, roughly dividing the first stage in half. Then Chase Briscoe lost a wheel. Ryan Blaney got stuck 2 laps down on a botched stop. This allowed numerous drivers to move up the field. Busch took his pit stop with caution and was prepared to accept a top 5 starting position after the decision. Well, his penalty prevented it from happening. "That's insane," Busch stated on the radio. "I never saw a blue light down pit road. I'm on page 3. Kyle Busch is presumably referring to the LEDs on his dashboard. This indicates drivers roughly how fast they are heading down pit road. His team is also furious since they received the penalty late. The interesting thing is that Busch had just criticized NASCAR the day before for the way penalties are officiated. Only a day later, he received the short end of the stick again. All because he spoke out about recent controversies concerning NASCAR's approval process and driver penalties, which made him question who should be making those difficult decisions. Kyle Busch has always been a vocal driver who never hesitates to express his beliefs. So it's no surprise that he's looking into NASCAR's approval procedure and if certain drivers with scant stock car experience should be permitted to race at the Cup level, regardless of their history. Some questioned Helio Castronev's decision to run the Daytona 500 with no previous NASCAR starts, and Catherine Lega's decision to run Phoenix with no oval starts in any of the national divisions since 2018. Both are experienced open-wheel and sports car racers, but neither has won a race. "Yeah, I don't have a great answer," Busch replied when questioned about the approval procedure at a Saturday media availability. "I feel like I've questioned the approval process for a long time. Being an owner in the truck series with Kyle Busch Motorsports, which shut down after the 2023 truck season, and seeing some young drivers get opportunities at different tracks versus my drivers that I was trying to get them opportunities at some of those same tracks getting denied. So I was very confused, and probably I'm even more confused now on how it all works. I think it's broken." Busch went on to say that there's a lot of work that could be done to make it better. He went as far to question what executives get to be involved in such calls. "I also do feel as though it shouldn't be suit and ties making the decisions always," he continued. "Certainly there can be some that need to be involved, but I do feel like there needs to be fire suits involved in some of those decision-making processes on those that need to be approved or not approved for various activities." Drivers have also questioned why Austin Cindric's intentional right hook of Ty Dillon at COTA did not result in a sanction, despite past incidences. NASCAR stated it was due to the nature of the incident, but should outcome be considered against intent? Busch feels those same unnamed executives shouldn't be involved in policing on-track incidents like that. And he has an idea of who should. The Austin Cindric deal. "I don't think suit and ties should be making that. I think you should get penalized by your peers." So, is the solution to all of this additional track time and veterans that decide penalties? The NASCAR Cup Series is currently extremely limited, with only one quick practice session on most weekends. However, as Busch points out, things aren't always that simple. Testing is tough because, obviously, I would say that if we're talking about Catherine's Lega situation, I don't know how much extra funds there are there with that situation, Live Fast Motorsports, to be able to go out to Phoenix a week early and go test, you know what I mean? But that obviously would be beneficial to not only the team, but also the driver in that case to just go out there and get some reps, get some laps, get some seat time, feel the car out, get it more comfortable than probably what she was able to do in just the short practice that we have. So how that all works, I'm not exactly sure. If it's a 4-hour session on Thursday or Friday or like the day before or something, I think that could certainly be a waiver piece that is allowed for, you know, some first-timers. For the time being, no adjustments are being made, but Busch is not alone in wanting the system recalibrated in the near future, particularly following yesterday's disputed penalty. Enough about that, and let's return to the race, as Busch was not the only one embroiled in controversy. Ryan Blaney also had a difficult day on the racetrack. The NASCAR champion suffered many issues, the last of which halted his race, leaving him in 35th place. Everyone knows Ryan Blaney gets heated in the car. This time, he could have a valid reason to be unhappy. 4 wide on a restart, and the track couldn't take it. This crash involving Christopher Bell, Noah Gragson, Bubba Wallace, and Blaney were 4 wide. Blaney ran out of room when Gragson made contact with his right rear. Then, the wrecking began. Ryan Blaney was quite upset. He called out Bell over the radio. "The effing 20 just shoves it in the middle," Blaney told Dustin Albino. "He has no regard for anybody. I don't know." This race was a crazy one. All of the pit road mistakes and events on the track have resulted in an interesting shift in pit road strategy. However, after leaving the treatment center and seeing the footage, Ryan Blaney appeared to accept responsibility for the accident himself. He was less upset after seeing the 20 car. Shows how different he is in and out of the car. Finally, we'll talk about Logano, who started second and finished 20th. Another disappointing day for the 22 team. Logano has lots of reasons to be unhappy after the first 5 races of the 2025 season, but a lack of speed isn't among them. Joey Logano, the reigning NASCAR Cup Series champion, has had a bumpy start to the season and hopes to win his 4th title in 2025. The Team Penske driver led 43 laps before colliding with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the Daytona 500 after an altercation over space. In Atlanta, he led 34 laps until weakening late and finishing 12th. He didn't lead any laps at COTA, but he was on track for a top 10 finish before Todd Gilliland pushed him to 24th place. And in Phoenix, he began on the front row and led 33 laps before an early restart infraction ruined his entire day. "Frustrating is the one word that comes to mind," Logano said about the beginning of his title defense. "I think I've left the racetrack every single weekend mad at something, that's part of racing sometimes." Logano, on the other hand, can take pride in a few achievements. His 207 laps led this year are the most of any driver, and he prefers to focus on the positives despite the disappointing results. "You've also got to move on quickly, and you also got to look at what you've done well," said Logano further. "And as a team, we've done great at leading laps. We've been towards the front, we're tied for 7th in points, which shows we've scored a lot of stage points. So even though the finishes aren't there, we've been able to run up front enough to score the stage points and to be able to be in contention. So there's some positives there. It's not like we're just slow, it's just something has happened every race so far." That part is frustrating in a way because it also feels like you're not taking full advantage of the opportunities ahead of you because you've had race cars and you really haven't been able to convert. But that's also sometimes just how racing goes, and you have to learn from your lessons and keep going. Logano had a good chance of turning things around last weekend, and not just because he has the most wins of any active driver in Vegas, but the driver of the number 22 Team Penske Ford rolled off on the outside of the front row in 2nd place on the grid, but it wasn't meant to be, leaving him unhappy yet again. What are your thoughts on last weekend's race? Was it a good one, or yet another one filled with controversy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.